Okay, so this is a video just to kind of demo the new stereo I finished putting in my car. It's a 2002 Honda Civic. And basically I've had a stereo in it for a while, but I've just recently done a few upgrades to replace the deck, added a sub, added an amp, rewired a bunch of stuff, you know, things like that. So this is kind of a walkthrough of what's in the car and, you know, how it's all been set up and how it's been wired together and what it can do. So, start with the head unit here. It's a Pioneer FH-P8000BT. It's a Bluetooth ready, doubled in head unit, and basically it needs a doubled in dash trim right here. I got this, it's a Metra part. Metra makes all these things, are really useful. And it just fits right in there, bolts right into the stock metal cage. I'll show you that right away. And it works with the cell phone, automatically pairs up. It has a microphone up here. You can mount that anywhere you want. I just chose to put it up here by the mirror because I didn't like the look of it anywhere else and it kind of got in the way. The wire from this runs all the way along the glass and all the way down the A-frame here, the A-pillar, then all the way down to the side, and then in behind the glove box and up in behind here. So I'm going to pull this out and we'll have a look at it here. Really not much to pulling these things out in Honda. Pretty straightforward. So the back of this we can see here, there's 3 sets of RCA out, pre-outs. They're 4 volts. There's the rear and the rear of the top ones, the front are in the middle, and the sub are at the bottom there. So I've got the sub and the front's plugged in. I don't have anything on the rear. The 1 amp powering all 4 speakers. It's plugged into front. Nick takes care of all that for me. So the speaker wires coming out of here are just leading to nothing. They're just taped over so they don't get in the way of anything. There's a USB input right here, and basically you can plug in anything you want to this USB input, but it's the big feature of it is that it works with an iPod. So you can plug in your iPod to that, and I just basically ran it through underneath into the glove box here. And so you can leave your iPod sitting in your glove box. Don't have to worry about it. You don't have to fumble with it while you're driving. You don't have to worry about people seeing it and stealing it. You just leave it in there. It runs all the time. It has a little blue port there, pretty much standard for any Pioneer deck. Plug in a cable to that. I do have it, I just haven't bothered to plug it in yet for this one. And you can plug in RCA inputs. Useful for a laptop or for an iPod if you don't have the USB support. All that kind of stuff. Put that back. Just kind of snaps into place, nice and easy. And makes the dash look nice and clean. You know, there's nothing in the way. There's no wires running out there. It's good. So let's have a look under the hood first for wiring. Wiring here starts off on the battery positive terminal. Nothing special on the ground. It's a brand new battery, but you know, there's nothing big that'll fit into a Honda Civic. So the fuse here, it's fused, you know, about 6 inches or so away from the battery, just what you want. It's a 150 amp fuse, which is too big for this wire. We accidentally grounded it while we were installing, and the wire just caught fire rather than shorting the fuse, so I need to downsize that to 125 or 100 even. The wire itself is 4 gauge. I've got it covered with just this plastic cover here. You can get this from pretty much any auto shop or any electronic shop even. And it's just a useful heat protector so you don't melt your wire to something. Really useful. So it runs through the engine, through a little grommet in there, comes out on the driver's side underneath the floor. I don't know if I can see it or not. I don't think so. I think I hit it pretty good. And yeah, it comes all the way down underneath the floor and underneath this trim here. It's all strapped in so we don't accidentally short it again. It goes all the way behind and then through to the back of the car, all the way into the trunk where one of the amps is mounted. So as soon as my seatbelt decides to cooperate with me, there we go. You can see there's where the power wire comes running in. I'm going to have to get my keys and unlock that. There we go. Yeah, so there's the back of the sub box. The power wire runs in from the side over here, where it runs into the capacitor, and capacitor grounds, and basically makes it a little bit easier on the battery. When the subs pull power, they pull as the sub kicks. So the harder the sub kicks, the more power they pull at one time. and that's really hard in a battery. So what the capacitor does is store a charge, so then the amp pulls from that, and then the capacitor just slowly, constantly pulls from the battery. Kind of increases your battery life, makes it a little bit easier. You don't get the lights dimming so much. This little thing up here is a distro block, and the power wire runs in there, splits out two different ways. One of them runs right over here to the power on this amplifier, powering the subs. The other one keeps going, runs all the way to the second amp, which is powering the door speakers. I'm probably getting a bit of noise in the lines right now, just from the fact that the power wire is running so close to my speaker and RCAs right here. I can either insulate the wires or move them around so they aren't in the way. I'll get around to that at some point, but for now it sounds alright. I'll have a look at the other amp underneath the driver's seat. So underneath this seat we have a Pioneer 760 watt 2-channel amp, and it's basically powering all 4 door speakers. I don't get the front-rear separation that I would, running right off the head unit, but it doesn't really matter. I never split it to the front and back anyways, so big deal. Power wire here is not really hidden. It runs in and hides underneath the panel right here, and then it disappears. So it's only visible for a few inches. I didn't feel like cutting a hole in the carpet at the end of the day, so left it like that for now. Don't think it's going to cause any problems. Yeah, the subs are a pair of Pioneer Premier. They're 10-inch, 1500 watt max and 600 watts RMS. And the amp powering them is a Twister F2 series. It's 1250 watts by 2 channels, so it's putting out roughly 600 each sub, which is exactly what you want. The box, just a Baseworks separated box. It's ported both sides, and nothing special about that. I just found it at Future Shop. Capacitor on the side here, Stinger 1 farad, good for up to 1000 watts or so, although I'm never really using 1000 watts at a time, so it should be just fine. Yeah, I don't have a second grill. I only have the one grill. I can't seem to find another one. They don't make them like that anymore. I can't seem to find that exact design anywhere, and it's hard to find a matching set that look any good anywhere else. So that's why there's only one. I think that's about it for just the components. Oh yeah, the RCA wires, the speaker wires. All of the audio wires run on this side, on the driver's side, and all the power wire runs on the passenger side over there. That way they keep them separated, and you don't get noise in the lines from them being too close to each other. So there are, you can see the RCA and the remote wires. I have them tucked back here. Should really be strapping them to this. But they're strapped underneath here, they're strapped back here, and they shouldn't get in the way of the pedals. They run underneath the carpet back here, and then there's no way to put them underneath this pedal, unfortunately, or this footrest. So they just kind of sit up here, and they're strapped into the back so they can't move anywhere. And they come in behind all the panels here, underneath all the floor trim, and past all the speaker wire and power wire back here. The speaker wires run out for the amp here, so do the RCAs for this amp. The other RCAs keep going through the back, all the way through to the trunk. I had to take all the seats out and the panels out and everything just to hide the wires properly. It takes a few hours. Alright, so we're going to turn it on, see what it sounds like.